Hey, I'm Mike, and today I'm showcasing Satya, Aetherflux Genius. He's a 3-5 human artificer in Jeskai colors. When he attacks, he creates a tapped and attacking token of another non-token creature. You get 2 energy, and at the end of your turn you sacrifice the token you created, unless you pay energy for the token's mana value. And he's got Menace and Haste, so he's likely to copy something the turn you play him. Now the energy part is a misdirection, and this deck is at its most competitive as a Jeskai good stuff deck. You got blue counter spells and draw, and red and white for removal. Remember that on attacks effects won't trigger on copies made by Satya, as the tokens are put directly into play attacking. Instead we are looking to copy creatures with great enters the battlefield effects. We have access to a very fun one-card combo, Portraiser. When Portraiser deals combat damage to our opponent, we get to untap and have another combat phase. The way this works with Satya is we play the Portraiser, and on the same turn we get an attacking token. If that connects, we can go infinite. And to support this combo we are playing a few cannot block effects, and we to find Portraiser with Gamble. You can see this combo in action in game 1. Other than that, the deck is pretty straightforward. We get to play Static Prison, which is an amazing effect for just 1 white. Wrath of the Skies is also included, but I didn't draw it in enough games yet to make a judgment on it. Now go check out my decklist on Moxfield, link in description. I also have a primer on my decks, so have a read of that as well.
Alright, we go first. We have a pretty good hand. We have Portraiser in our opening hand. That's the combo. So yeah, let's go for it and see where we end up. Tapped land first, then on turn 2 we can attempt something else. Opponent's not doing anything so far, which is for a Nadu deck unexpected. Fabrication module gives us energy, we will play the land and probably Fable for the treasure. Now let's go all in on the energy. We will get 3 extra energy, so that next turn when we play Satya we have something to copy. Opponent plays out Nadu and doesn't do anything with it, so we're happy with that. Here we get to attack for... I should have attacked there. Not sure why I skipped through the phases. And yeah, we missed the land. If we got the land here, we would be able to play Portraiser and win. Unless it, of course, got countered, but still, this is fine. We get to copy the energy creature, get more energy, and now we are feeling not really comfortable. Opponents got 5 mana, and oh my god, they didn't use any of it. Well, that's crazy. I'm not sure what this Nadu deck is doing. They are literally not playing anything. They cast their commander and they passed. Anyway. Yeah, here we attempt Portraiser. Opponent doesn't even have a counter spell. So yeah, we just copy Portraiser and get infinite turns. Every time Portraiser connects on combat damage, we get another combat step. So with Satya we can just keep copying the original Portraiser, creating a new token, and yeah, here we are, GG. Okay, we are playing against Bonny Pall, so a Simic deck, and we have a Cavern, so that's very good. We also have mana drain for their commander. This is a decent hand. Yeah, so let's get the tapped land out of the way, so that next turn we can have mana drain open if we need to, or we can play the Gargoyle. Both are good options. Opponent ramps. So we should probably keep the counter spell ready. So let's just play the land. Then again, if we wait with the mana drain for later turns, we can get better value out of it. Opponent's not gonna play their commander this turn, so yeah. The sorcery speed deck manipulation was probably a better choice. Yeah, and now we absolutely have to have the mana drain open, because opponent is somehow going to get their big stuff out now. Garruk's Uprising. Sure, might as well. It is just 3 mana, but we will take that. We will happily take that. Also, we needed to do something with our turn, so yeah. We had the option for the survey land, and that's better than the Triumph. Triumph wouldn't really help us in any way. We have white in our hand anyway. So here we get Cavern out, meaning our opponent's open mana doesn't scare us anymore. And we get Satya out. We don't have anything to copy, but it still is a hasty 3-5. So that's nevertheless a good play. Curiously enough, Satya, the delayed trigger, gets on the stack anyway, even if we didn't target anything initially. So shouldn't really matter that much. If we confirm, we would lose 0 energy. If we decline, we are guaranteed to not lose any energy anyway. So yeah, shouldn't really be in the UI anyway, in my opinion, but I understand why it is there, because opponents can react to it. It is an event that happens. Alright, we get rid of our lands. We got flooded a little bit, but nothing too wild. Here we copy the energy creature. Not that we care too much about the energy at this point, even though we do have the Brawl, which is energy based, so having all this energy is pretty exciting. But yeah, other than that, it is just a flying 2-2. And of course we spend the energy to keep it around opponents at 17 health, so all the flying creatures we have are pretty good. Now, the Wrath probably not good enough, because we would lose everything we built so far. Opponent's not great at blocking everything we have, so let's just get the 5 mana 4/4 with flying out. It gives us a lot of energy, and then we can spend energy to buff everything. So that's probably a good choice here. If we attack with Satya, we can copy the Angel. Yeah, I'm not sure if Lifelink was the best choice here, because we probably wanted to keep the energy up for the Wrath. But also, since we are at 32 life now, opponents' creatures don't really scare us that much. And we have a lethal on the board, unless opponents deal with it. All we need to do is copy the Angel, and of course opponent exiled our Portraiser, but that's fine. It is not needed for Satya to win. It's a nice combo, but yeah. Alright. How do we deal with this? If we get enough blockers out, we can block opponent's creatures, and then the counter attack should be sufficient. We could even play out the Ragavan just as a blocker. There will be no attacking this turn. Opponent will just block with Bonny, Pall and Ulalek. So we can just decline. Not sure why opponent didn't double block. They could have double blocked and killed Satya, but they got rid of our Angel instead, so they didn't take 8 damage. And yeah, now we have 2 blockers. We can keep the Angel around by paying energy for it, and I don't see how our opponent can get away from this. They attack with Annihilator 6, which, yeah, bummer. We'll just sack our lands. Oh no, we have no lands. What will we do? We don't even need to block here. We'll happily take the 13 damage. Our opponent's at 3. They play a Druid class, doing very little at this point. A creature that allows them to drop extra lands. They get 1 life. They get an extra life. And... Alright, they sacked the Prismatic Vista for yet another life, but they had to pay for it, so kind of a moot action anyway. And yeah, they have one reaching creature, and we have Menace, we have Satya's ability to copy something, so we should be able to get to a win here. Yeah, everything gets +1/+1, we attack, we get the Smelter Box trigger as well, we copy the menacing creature, and we win. Our opponent cannot block all of that. GG. This hand is mediocre. We only have 2 lands. The cards were pretty high mana value. This, on the other hand, is amazing. Esper Sentinel, removal, and energy payoff. Pretty good. So let's get the Esper Sentinel out, especially against the colorless deck. Esper Sentinel is so good. Turn 2 we will most likely play the Hawk, and turn 3 we don't have a great play yet, so hopefully we draw something better, but yeah, Marvel is meh. Alright, let's get the Hawk out, might as well attack with Esper Sentinel here. And yeah, we still have 1 draw before we need to make an action on turn 3. If we don't, at least we can keep the swords open, so maybe that's fine. Alright, Lightning Bolt. At least it can get rid of the Artificer. And yet again we attack our opponent, no need to give our creatures any extra keywords here. We unramped our opponent, so they only get to have the bridge. The bridge is low-key scary. We should probably consider removing it. We have the means. Opponent will have gain 0 life if we do it. Yeah, we can also do it later, but nah, let's just remove the drawbridge now. If somehow miraculously opponent manages to get a big creature out, giving it haste can be devastating, so we removed it, now we copy Esper Sentinel. We need to target with the Hawk, but we will not use the ability. And yeah, we will decide to keep the Esper Sentinel around, because of course we do. Semblance Anvil, yeah, triggering our 2 Esper Sentinels. Opponent will likely pay for at least one of them, the other one they cannot. Galvanic Discharge is a sneakily very good card. It cannot target opponents, but it is 1 mana, deal as much damage as you have energy, which is pretty solid. Of course, if it was able to target opponents, it would be incredibly busted, but it already is very good as it is. For creatures and planeswalkers, it is better than Lightning Bolt, if you have the energy generation. But of course, Lightning Bolt being more universal is better. Yeah, we get the bauble out, and opponent attempted to play a spell for 0 mana and gets it countered. GG. Well, we only have 2 lands in this hand, but we can probably attempt to play it. Turn 1 Skrelv, and then turn 2 we have the Ether Super, or we can unsummon opponents' creatures if they have anything. That deck is probably not going to ramp with creatures on the first few turns. Let's see. Being on the draw, we do get to see what our opponents do first. Alright, let's crack the Misty Rainforest, get a... We could get Surveillant here, we don't have much else going on. The land, yeah, we need extra lands. And hit our opponent for 1, inflicting 1 poison. Oh, okay, that's a good one. that's a great card that we can bounce. So we could play the Swooper and then crack for probably, well, any blue source will do. And yeah, we can bounce that 3-drop. So pretty good tempo swing. We can yet again attack with Skrelf too, sure. Why not? If anything happens to the Swooper, we don't really mind all that much. Oh, opponent did tramp with a creature after all. Good for them. Alright, well, here we get to attack with Satya, probably copying the Swooper. We could copy the protection. No, but they would just block it, so yeah, we need to go for the flying creature instead. We decided to use the energy on the 1/1. Going white may be important in case our opponent attacks with large beaters, so we have something back to block. Skrelf, of course, unable to block. And end of our turn, we decide to keep the Swooper around. Come on. Okay. Pretty solid play from our opponent. They get a few Eldrazi spawns and ping us for 1 damage many times. So it's 16-16. We have the high ground though. We have all the flyers. And they decide to go for Ulalek, sacrificing all the spawns. Alright. Well, we will get to Reverse Rebuke fairly soon. We can also... Okay, let this great. We actually needed that. We could also play Zergo and Ojutai and copy it. The copy, of course, will die because of Legend Rule, but it is still a hasty creature. We could copy something else too, so it doesn't matter that much. Let's keep the 1/1 around for blocking, and we could copy the Swooper. It is kind of the only choice, to be honest. The dragon would just die, and yeah, the Swooper is another one too. So it's very reasonable. Opponent goes down to 6, and we have 1 blocker back. Ooh, Cyrift's amazing. But if we get the land, then we can play Reverse Rebuke instead, so maybe that's even better. Alright, and yeah, let's keep the Swooper token around. Opponent's at 6, so... Oh, and we get rebuked. Well, can't do anything about that, can we? So yeah, we put everything back into our hand. And yeah, we have a rebuke of our own. So the only problem is we cannot block here, but it's just 6 damage. So could be worse. And yeah, we will immediately rebuke them back. What do we search for? We have enough of everything, so no need to get the shock lands. And we rebuke them back. They have 5 lands, we are at 6, so we are feeling ahead at this point, especially if they have to replay their mana creatures. We didn't find a land, so we are missing this land drop, but we get a 4/4 Zurgo and Ojutai. It gets countered, that's alright. It was not a win anyway. Opponent would go down to 2 life, or now 1 life, after they used the land. And yeah, with Skrelf, we can give something unblockable. So we should be able to close here. Satya has haste. How can we make Satya deal 5 damage? This is an interesting spot, actually. How do we deal with this? The Virtuoso doesn't give extra damage, but the Inventor does. Okay, so we can combine Satya and then get the trigger from the from the inventor. Do we have enough mana? We do. We play Satya, we have the 3 left. Battle Wagon doesn't do it, but yeah, inventor put a +1/+1 counter on target creature when it enters the battlefield. So we need to play Satya first. And then we need to get Satya's 3 power up to 5. And even though it has menace, we need to make sure it doesn't get blocked. So inventor puts a +1/+1 counter on Satya. Then we make Satya unblockable by green. So even though they can block with Ulalek, Satya has menace, so it's unblockable now. And we copy the inventor and put a +1/+1 counter on Satya. That was actually a complicated line. GG. I'm glad we found it. Alright, decent hand. Let's give it a go. We have 2 drops. We also have the Virtuoso on turn 3 and then turn 4 Satya. We have no ramp, but it is what it is. Oh, Storm Drake is incredible. We can just steal our opponent's creature. That's very good. Their commander is 3 mana, so Storm Drake can steal it and then keep it around. Storm Drake is proving actually very good, especially against low mana value commanders. Alright, let's get the bug out, get the energy. Alright, well, opponent will have a good turn here. They have many artifacts. Most likely their hand is full of these artifacts. Alright, well, protection, that's fine. Mishra's desk. What else? Alright, they will draw. Bonesaw, lovely. This deck is actually fun. The Meria, of course. They get to play all these eggs that tap for mana. It's like a little Urza, but in red and green. Sentinel will give them 1 life. And we are probably playing the Storm Drake here. Nah, we can get a 3/3. That's even better. Opponent's low on cards, so they can tap all these artifacts, but then they will not have enough mana to do anything. And the 3/3 is able to block Meria, so there's no need to steal the Meria yet. We will probably do it next turn, and then we can also double spell if we draw a land, which would be even better. So this is a bit risky, but also more mana efficient. And we are still at 22 life. Winter Moon. Well, that's rough. We are on 0 basics now, so he will be untapping 1 land, and we need to draw a land so that we can play Storm Drake. It needs to be a blue land. Okay, cool. Well, that was somewhat lucky. I'll admit that, but yeah, we can just play the Storm Drake. Steal Meria. Swap them around, and yeah, we will pay. Can't do anything about that. The commander didn't change the zones, and it stays on our side of the battlefield. We attack, we don't need to give it +1/+0 and menace. If they block with the Storm Drake, we are happy. Meria will still stay on our side of the battlefield, even if the Drake gets removed, so we don't mind that at all. And yeah, our opponent is at 3 open mana, and they don't have Meria, so they cannot really utilize their lands either. Lovely. GG. Next one. Command Tower. Okay, now we see Ragavan, so that will get us back to a better position after we mulligan to 5. Yeah, the Izzet generator doesn't do much, so here we keep Ragavan and the Harvester turn 1 Ragavan. We go second, which is unfortunate. Ragavan will probably not be able to get in, and will likely have some kind of a mana dork. Yeah, it always is the Elfish Mystic, and that's fine. We don't have another red source, so we have to use the Cavern here, which doesn't feel great. But we still need to play the Ragavan. Maybe it will disincentivize our opponent from tapping out with the Mystic. Now they have Kami, so yeah, we are in a pretty bad situation here. If we attack, they will just block with Kami, but then again, what else are we going to do? We need the blue source, so we need to play tapped land, and yeah, let's keep the Ragavan around. Yep, of course, opponent plays Nadu, they have 1 mana open, and they don't use it in any way, so likely some kind of a protection spell. I'm not even sure what we will be hoping to get with the Ember Coiler. We will probably pitch the Transformer and hope for our combo piece. Opponent's play seems a bit premature. And then they apply Biomancy. Sure, that's all fine. I'm not too scared yet. Usually Nadu is way stronger than what our opponent is presenting. Alright, Ember Coiler. We pitch the Transformer and hope for something playable. Fury. I mean, Fury is great with Satya, because we can copy Fury. Very interesting. So this turn we get Satya out, we attack, get a copy of the Ember Coiler, and we will be attacking for 6 plus 3, 9 damage. Our opponent is taking a lot of time. I cut the directions down a lot. But yeah. Play Genesis. They get land, tap out, we are even more comfortable attacking, and yeah, get our opponent down to 11. Audacity. Alright, I mean, yeah, I'll play Audacity. Having trample on one of our creatures is great, and we get an extra draw if we get to it. I'll take it. We didn't need to consider keeping the treasure around for Fury anyway, because we already have... Oh, actually, yeah, we don't have the second red for the Fury, so maybe I should have not played the Audacity. Because Fury, of course, means ETB, deal the damage, and then copy Fury, deal the damage again. So Fury would have been better than the Audacity, but we get lucky. We get the fetch land, so we can get our red source. And yeah, we discard the Harvester. Oh, okay. Next turn we can play Sun Titan. Well, there will not be a next turn, but yeah, let's just crack the fetch, get a untapped red source. Pay 2 life for the Sacred Foundry. Put Fury out. And we risked removing the Fanatic of Ronus. Not sure why our opponent is not putting counters on the Fanatic. They instead decide to go all in on Nadu. And they get so many triggers. At any point they could have just found a response or put the counters on the Fanatic, and they just keep going. Maybe their thinking was, well, we are going to get a copy of Fury anyway, so if they put any counters on it, we will kill the Fnatic on our next action. I'm really not sure what was going on in their head. But yeah, here we just get to attack, copy Fury. The damage is incidental. Maybe we are not even supposed to target the Elfish Mystic here to not give them the target and extra triggers, but the Elfish Mystic already had both of their triggers used up, so yeah, GG. Well, having a 1-drop in the Giver of Runes is good. Fable, yeah, it was too slow. We see the Giver of Runes again, and then we have a Lightning Bolt as removal. It was too slow. Okay, this is better, right? We have energy creatures, we have removal, and we have counterspell. The counterspell is really what we were looking for. We are playing against Nadu, so we had to find something useful. Yeah, opponent goes first, so it'll be very difficult for us. Okay, well, we got pretty lucky here. They gave us a excellent target, so we need to find an untapped white source, pay for it, and then exile the Nantuko. It's gone. And now we can play our command tower and have Tail's End open. Yep, counter Nadu. Gotta do it. And now we are just hoping to not necessarily get more value than our opponent, but we just need to aggro them out. So next turn we will be attacking for 2 with the Gargoyle, 3 with Satya, and another 2 as a copy of the Gargoyle. Oh my god, opponent, you are so going to hate this. We get an untapped threat source. We don't have any. Well, might as well get the Surveil then, I guess. We need a red source. But we also need a blue source. Yeah, might as well just get the summon out. Kitten doesn't do anything by herself, so we untap here. We could attack with Satya, but I feel like removing the Kitten is more important. But then we don't do anything else. So the question is aggro better? And yeah, no, let's just deal with the Kitten. We don't have any other play, so might as well save the 2 life and pass. We can wait on the Lightning Bolt after our opponent makes a decision, even if they have a 0 or any other non-creature spell here. They can only target the Kitten, so that's not particularly useful. And they didn't even tap out for Nadu, so this is amazing. Not only they will not have the... Sorry, I got stuck there because I was wondering whether they attempted to bounce the Kitten. They did not, but I was confused with the arrows. And yeah, they go to combat. We attempt to bolt the Kitten. Surely they have a counterspell or something. They have 3 open mana. They are in Simic. I'll be astonished if the bolt resolved. Yeah, they have a protection spell, that's fine. So next turn we are hoping to... Okay, well that's a 1-drop that we can copy and use. That's great. I mean, Fury would have been better, or anything else would have been better from creatures, but it's better than a land, so I'll take that. Let's try for Satya. If it gets countered here, we are still going to replay it next turn, so that's all good. Alright. Well, it is nice. I'm glad our opponent likes it as well. We will move to combat and get Satya bounced. Okay, whatever. Let's put it into our hand, play it next turn, hit our opponent for 2, don't need lifelink, and 2 +1/+1 counters. Eh. You only have 3 energy now, and it may come up later, so let's not be hasty here. The 2 damage hopefully won't make a difference. Opponent taps out, but then they find a land. If they have a protection here, we are probably going to fall too far behind. Well, that's a land. Let's play Satya. It didn't get countered. Okay. I was actually worried about that. Could have been the Strix, could have been something else. But our attack is pretty strong here. We need to use the +1/+1 counters on the gargoyle. Otherwise our opponent would block it, and then we would not have a good target for Satya to copy. So we do the +2/+2. They will block the token, but it's still better than the original dying. So yeah, they will be taking 4+1+3 damage, 8 damage. They will be going down to 10. Alright, 1 blue open. Opponent, what are you gonna do with it? Shore up. Okay, I'm not sure why they didn't block first. They could have blocked the guide and then flicker Nadu. Oh, they wanted to double... Satya. They wanted to double block Satya. That's a wild decision. They lost the kitten to it, and they still took 7 damage. That was a wild play. Even if kitten is not great in the deck, and I legitimately don't believe it is still a creature, and Nadu needs creatures to have something to trigger on. I can't believe they actually blocked with the kitten. That could not have been correct. Anyway, next turn we have 6 mana for Satya anyway, so we can replay them, and hopefully that's lethal? Probably not though, right? Our opponent will have a blocker for probably the gargoyle, and then we will have... Oh, they rebuke us? Sure. Well, now they have a counterspell open, so we will probably replay the guide into Riddle. Ah, never mind. Yeah, let's just replay Satya then. We search for human, get Satya out. We can do both. It doesn't matter, the order, it really doesn't. We will get extra energy if we play the Guide of Souls first, so it is a better play, but ultimately we will not be using the energy most likely. Yep, it's uncounterable. Opponent's looking at our lands, but it was the last land we played, so... Alright, they decide to not use their counterspell because they were unable to do so. And we copy the guide, we get another energy from a creature entering the battlefield, and we put the counters on Satya. If we don't, we can keep the other Guide of Souls on the battlefield. Oh, we can do that anyway though, because we get 2 energy from the Satya trigger. Opponent uses Cephalid Colosseum. It's probably not going to save them because they're all tapped out. So yeah, they go down to 4, and we keep the extra Guide of Souls on the battlefield. We are up to 5 energy, and opponent decides to give up.
How do you like Satya so far? It's nowhere near as busted as Nadu Winged Wisdom, but the deck definitely has legs. Let me know down in the comments. How is it working for you? Are there any cards you wish I included in the deck list? That's it for me now. Have a good one.